very gently, and also allowed to gradually have more and more exercise so they can be strong and fit, and so they can hop around as they like to do. George is another 2-year-old bunny, or at least an adult dwarf bunny that was kept for 2 years. We're pretty sure about his age though, because the people who brought him in had several bunnies and they had the mom. So this is an example of one of the problems with having bunnies that are not spayed and neutered, is that you may end up with more bunnies. So George's siblings and family members are here. We have they're dwarf bunnies, so they're very tiny. They're not going to get any bigger than this. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, but we have a bunny nearby who's thumping. And George is not doing that. But what's important to know about that thump, rabbits take their back foot and thump it on the bottom of their cage. It's a little territorial message. It could be to other rabbits nearby. It could be to people who are reaching into their cage. But it's a warning that the rabbit's upset about the intrusion. Now, George, and another bunny in the background is answering that, one of George's siblings. So it's important, if you want to get a pet, that you take some time to research what their behaviors are and what they mean. And they're not complicated to understand. In fact, some of kids and people who have been raised around animals have a real instinct for a new behavior in an animal, whether it's a threat or a friendly gesture. But it's still a good idea to look specifics up because, for example, when bunnies are very happy, they jump around and kick up their feet, as we explained. George was doing that off camera. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see it, but hopefully George might show you that in a minute. And the foot stomping, that's important to know if you're going to have a bunny. And the other thing that's important to know is bunnies, just like horses, eat hay. They ferment the hay at the end of their digestive cycle. So it needs to be hay without too much protein and sugar, so that they get the most nutrition out of it and don't have any side effects. Bunnies get tummy aches from eating the wrong thing, just like horses. And it's very important to keep their cage clean. We have George set up in this big sprawling puppy pen because when he was brought to us, he had been housed in conditions that were a little too crowded, and you may be able to see on his back legs, he has some of his hair shaved off where he got a little skin rash from being in damp hay and straw. So the several things that you need to know about bunnies is that they are not shy and retiring as people might think, that they need to build up their strength if they've been raised in a cage before they're allowed to have too much freedom. They certainly should be allowed to have freedom when they're fit and ready for it. They must be kept clean, they have to eat hay, and they have a lot of behaviors that cats and dogs would not display. So you need to look into those so you'll understand. Also, just like horses, they can't see directly in front of their face. So people very often poke their fingers through a rabbit hutch and then get a surprise bite. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, bunnies are used to people sticking food through their bars, so when things stick in, they are very likely to grab them and see if they're good to eat. The other reason is because since they can't see directly in front of their face, petting them right on the tip of their nose is so rude.